My name is Mark Pym. My job at Poundland is I'm trading controller covering marketing, space and activity planning. I've been with Poundland for just coming up to 2 years. Prior to that I did a year at Pep&Co, so quite a nice relationship in terms of what's gone on in that last couple of years. So Poundland is a business that's in its 28th year of trading. It celebrates its 30th birthday in 2020. Clearly it's the first single price retailer that hit the high streets in the UK and saw massive growth in terms of store openings, driving that growth in its early days. More recently, it's become in a much more challenging climate, having to focus on being different, offering customers exactly what they want and constantly changing to make sure we keep up with the customer profile. So Poundland today's got in the region of 850 stores. We're pretty happy with the customer number, the store numbers that we've got today, but that doesn't mean we're not looking for different sites. So as sites become available, if they're right for us and they're at the right deals from the landlords, then we'll consider them. Particularly some of the things we've been doing are trying to find some larger sites. So in a number of locations we've moved into ex-M&S stores where they've removed themselves from that high street, and actually it's an opportunity, it's a better store pitch for us. And we're starting to find that we're becoming the anchor now for many of the high streets across the UK. So store numbers, we're in a good place, we're happy with it, we're always looking out, and if opportunities arise we'll grow. But yeah, it's a constantly moving feast to try and make sure we're where customers want us to be. The past year's seen Poundworld drop out of the market. We're sad for the colleagues involved, but clearly from a business perspective, being the last man standing to some extent in terms of single price, or mainly single price retailer on the high street, we have seen a benefit of their customers shopping with us. We had a shared customer base anyway. About 90% of the customers shopped in both, but we have seen some uplift over the last 12 to 18 weeks as we've seen all of the Poundworlds close. The market today, I think, demands value retail, providing you do it in the right way for customers. And I think what Poundland seeks to offer is we are a simple shop. We are predominantly a £1 price point. We do introduce other price points into our offer. So currently we sell £1, £2, £5. And with the onset of Pep&Co coming into the stores as well, we have a broader range of multi-price in another category. I think the challenge for value retailers, and one of the things I'd look back and say Poundworld I would question, is they complicated their business through lots of different price points. And that changed from their history. Maybe they went faster than their customers were willing to go. And moving from a single price to more than one price, I think you have to be really mindful that you go at the pace that your customers are willing to accept and that you can explain to them. Otherwise you risk complicating your business to a point that you break it. Good. Clearly in the last 12 months we've seen Poundworld fall out of the market, which although that's tough on the colleagues that were there, it was good for our business because clearly we've seen an uplift as their customers look for value retail on the high street. The other thing we've done is take on some of their sites. So we've been very selective. We're taking sites that suit. Clearly when you've got 850 stores, you don't need to take them all on, it's just overlap. But we've managed to take on a number of their sites already where we think we can re-engage into that high street and bring Poundland to that set of customers. And we've also managed to take on a number of their colleagues that were unfortunately left. So we're proud to have taken on, I think it's hundreds of ex-Poundworld colleagues into our business, which again is great for us. The other thing we've done is in a number of sites we've moved into larger units on the high street. So we've gone into old M&S's and BHS's where they've exited, and we've managed to move into those sites. One of the big benefits of that is it allows us to put in a full offer of Pep&Co clothing and not impact on the Poundland offer in any way whatsoever. And that's almost the perfect model for us. So as more of those sites potentially become available, if they're right and at the right price and the landlord is considerate, then we'll look to move into them. Poundland and Pep&Co working in the same environment is almost the perfect marriage, because actually the customer that it's serving is the same customer. So you have 7 million customer a week coming into a Poundland, that customer profile is a perfect match to the Pep&Co customer that it served in its standalone stores. Clearly you have one set of overheads rather than two store overheads to cope with. So there's a commercial benefit on the synergies of putting the two under one roof. But at the same time, it also enables us to offer something on the high street that no other value retailer has been able to offer. So not only do you get the great offer and range and prices that Poundland offers, but in the same shop, you get a full clothing offer for the family at the same amazing price points. So it gives us a point of difference versus everybody else out in the high street, and we get commercial benefits from the synergy as well. So Poundland today doesn't have an online transactional channel. However, it did when I joined. So right at the beginning, it was one of the first things that the business decided to do 2 years ago was to close down an online transactional site. Reasons being, one, it sidetracks you. It complicates the business more than it needs to be. And there's a belief in Poundland that there is plenty to be had on the high street, even with all the challenges that are talked about quite widely. So the online business just was complicated. And we wanted to focus all our energy on making sure that in the high streets we were able to offer shops that customers wanted to come to, that we gave them the experience that would mean they'd come back, and that we could get the product offer right. So it's a clear decision made that we would go after bricks and mortar and delivering great high street and retail park shops rather than an online offer. I think every business is facing a lot of challenges coming up. The high street's constantly challenged. I've heard that for years, and I'm sure I'll hear it again for many more years. It's whether you choose to accept it or do something about it. So one of the biggest challenges Poundland's clearly facing is that there are more people shopping online and fewer people coming to the high street. But that doesn't mean there's not many people on the high street. There are still plenty. And we have 7 million customers a week, so there's plenty of people out shopping. Our challenge is to make sure that we encourage those customers to keep coming back to the high street and for no more to disappear. So that's a key challenge, and we're facing into that in a number of ways. One, we've got to make sure the shops are right, we've got to make sure the product offer is right, we've got to make sure the prices are right. And that whole experience has got to be a reason to want to come in to shop on the high street. And I can't just do that on my own, I need other high street retailers to also deliver that to make the whole shopping experience of going to the high street key. One of the big things we've taken to take that challenge head on is by putting Pep&Co clothing into the store. That's another reason to come in and another reason to shop the high streets. Having that standard of value clothing in our store is a reason to keep coming back. So that's one of the key challenges. I think the other one is uncertainty. So everybody's facing a slightly more uncertain future at the moment with the onset of Brexit and what that actually means. To be honest on that one, we have to focus on what we can control. So Brexit will be whatever happens, and then we'll deal with it. Clearly we're planning for all the different consequences that might come up, but it doesn't take us away from focusing on getting the shops right, getting the offer right, getting the pricing right, because ultimately that's what will bring people back. So ranging at Poundland's really important to us. It's something the company's almost had fame for. It's been that treasure hunt coming in, and you always find something a little bit different. Pep&Co is a bit different. So that's the first biggest change that we've made of the last 12 months, is putting a clothing offer in. And one of the key challenges for me is to make people actually realise that we offer a clothing range now. They still walk around our shops and, would you believe it, not see it. In other areas of Poundland, we're also trying to bring in range that is more inspiring, more exciting, but ultimately also better value. Because if we can't offer value through a brand, we'll offer it through a private brand. We've introduced a number of new products this year. So we've introduced #6, which is a skincare range for just £1. We've introduced Twin Peaks, and we offer that now at £1. And we've gone into a number of other categories as well where people wouldn't expect Poundland to go. So we've gone into PC games. Now we sell at £2 and £5. But again, because it's amazing value at those price points, and it still follows our mantra of simple prices, customers are buying into it. And we're looking for more of those areas because we can't stand still on range. And we know the categories the customers really want us to drive newness in, and they want us to drive uniqueness in, and those are the ones we're going to focus on. They almost feel like something a marketeer should bring in and say, that's the way you control or you keep your customers coming back, is through a loyalty program. truth is they're really expensive to run, and ultimately somebody's got to pay for it. So if Poundland tried to do a loyalty program, all of a sudden I'm quite simply could be £1.10 land because of the cost of running the program itself. So Poundland's perspective on this has to be, we'll deliver it through our price point, and that's the reason that people will come back. If we create amazing value every day and give it to customers in the right shopping environment with the right experience, that's the loyalty that brings them back. And as soon as I get the range wrong, or I get the price point wrong, or I get the experience wrong, that's the reason I leave them, I lose them. It won't be because they've got a couple extra points for buying something from Poundland. We've got 7 million customers a week, so our customers are everybody, and we have all sorts of customers. We have done quite a little bit of work the last year on understanding a target customer, because I think for every business you need to understand who is your core customer and who is the person that you should look through a lens of to make sure you're making the right business decisions. So we know our core customer is a family with kids, and they're our main shopper. So we can put them through a customer lens there. We also do a monthly survey through our checkouts. So we offer a monthly survey for people to fill in online and give us data back. And we do some research. So when we're doing big programs like putting Pep&Co into the stores, or even small changes where you're trying to put in a self-checkout rather than a man checkout, we'll do research based on those stores to take the customer understanding. Whether you're a value retailer or you're a national retailer, a national supermarket, you've got to understand your customers enough to be able to provide them what they need. But again, being a value retailer, I'm not going to do so much that I'm going to introduce things such as a loyalty program where you understand every little thing about them, because I think there's only limited benefit in some of that.